Many of us want a good monitor with no frills, and I think this monitor fits in that category. This is the Acer Nitro KG241Y-P3 monitor, and it is priced at only 379 ringgit Malaysia. It's an amazingly low price for a 23.8-inch 16:9 monitor with 1080p resolution that also goes up to 180Hz refresh rate. I mean, with such specs and such a low price, there must be a catch, right? We'll get into that later, but first let's talk about the display itself. Honestly speaking, to my eyes, this monitor already looks good, but my eyes are not that reliable, so we whipped out our colorimeter to test it as well. With its default settings out of the factory, it can cover 99.89% of sRGB and 93.54% of DCI P3 color gamuts. But that's not all. The delta E number is also very low. What surprised me though is the nearly perfect white balance on the red, green and blue channels throughout all brightness levels. I only found out that this monitor is actually a VA panel after doing all of the tests, and that goes to show this is a very high quality VA panel. Then here's the first catch. The maximum brightness level is only at around 270 nits. It's not particularly bright but good enough for indoors usage. Except for, when we have bright studio lights like this, 270 nits, this is literally the maximum brightness. Then there are also other color presets to choose from, but I honestly just leave it in its default sRGB and then adjust to whatever brightness that we need. Oh, this monitor also supports DDC/CI, so you can use utilities like Twinkle Tray on Windows or Monitor Control on Mac to adjust the monitor's brightness without actually touching the monitor. Then let's now talk about the pixel response time. This monitor's OSD menu has the option called Overdrive, and this is also where we can adjust the pixel response time. There are a total of 3 options here: Normal, which is the default option, Extreme, and also turning it off. If we are to compare all of the 3 options side by side, then I think Overdrive Normal looks the best. The Overdrive Extreme causes artifacts, which can be seen at the top left corner of the UFO. And if we turn off the overdrive option, then we can see triple UFOs. So my suggestion here is just to leave it in normal, which is the default setting. There is also yet another option here called VRB, also known as Visual Response Boost, also known as black frame insertion. We can once again select in a total of 3 different levels: off, normal, and extreme. Using it in the normal mode will cut the maximum brightness, and if we go to extreme mode, it will reduce the maximum brightness even further. I honestly don't see any significant difference other than the brightness getting cut down, so again, I recommend you to just leave it in its default, which is to turn it off. And another reason why I recommend you to turn off VRB is because we can only choose either VRB or FreeSync, and I prefer to have FreeSync because it mitigates screen tearing, which is a much bigger issue when it comes to playing games like this. That's about it for the panel itself. Now let's talk about other parts of the monitor. This monitor is a very simple monitor after all, so the ports here is just gonna be the essentials that we're gonna need. 1 HDMI port and 1 display port. You should always use DisplayPort whenever possible, and there is also yet another 3.5mm audio jack for audio pass-through as well. Do keep in mind that this monitor does not have built-in speakers, so that audio jack is literally to pass HDMI audio through that audio jack to whatever audio interface that you are using. Now is the time to also review the second catch for this monitor, the stand. This is a very basic stand, and it only has one single adjustment, which is tilt, and the tilt angle can actually go quite far back. The base is also pretty flat, so we can put some stuff on it, and there's also a ring at the back of the monitor stand for cable management. And that's pretty much it. We can also use a monitor arm if you want to, since it does have standard 100x100mm VESA mount at the back. One thing to note is that this monitor uses an external power supply, so hiding this power supply might be a challenge. So in conclusion, the Acer Nitro KG241Y-P3 is a fantastic monitor for this price. I'm very impressed with the out-of-the-box experience. For For the price that Acer is asking for this monitor, it offers a fantastic value for the quality that we are going to get. Yes, the included stand isn't particularly stellar, but hey, it has 100x100mm VESA mount, so you can just swap it to whatever monitor arm that you want. While the maximum brightness isn't particularly high, 270 nits is plentiful for indoors usage. And that's all that we have to share with you here in today's review of this Acer Nitro KG241Y-P3 monitor. Do let us know what you think about this, and do hit that like and subscribe button as well. And we'll see you guys in the next video.